Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Palmisano here again. This one is for my friends in the Gerrymanders, a dead cover band down in DC who wants me to do a little more JRAD, right? Happy to do some JRAD. They sent me this Eyes of the World from 117.25 with Marco Benevento doing an intro and an outro. This is 18 minutes long, so we're not going to start and stop a ton, okay? But I have done a deep dive on Eyes of the World. I will link the video where I talk about what happens on the album version when the band did it live. I think I did a Bruce Hornsby version when the band was doing it live, and then also how Dead & Company does it to give you a basic idea of what's happening in the song. So if you really want to dig deep and learn about how the rhythm and the harmony and melody work in this song, check out this video, or that video. But for right now, let's do JRAD. Deep breath, baby, deep breath. Okay, there's so much to talk about in here already. I'll try to keep it brief, but the vibe of Eyes of the World is this E major 7. So E with a major third, a G sharp, and then a D sharp, our major 7th, right? So that's our whole thing, like that, right? It's that D sharp over E. But right here, you see him playing all kinds of weird stuff, implying a bunch of stuff, and even right now, settling into an E minor vibe. Just wild to see where he takes this. Sus. You're brightening up. So again, into a G sharp, down to an F on the bass. Having that F transitions straight down into an E. I just love this. C sharp. A. Cascades, man. The cascades in the left hand. Okay, so you can see, or you can hear, he's starting to imply it now. You have that descending line, that right? But you heard him introduce these little cascading motifs, like in sets of 3 and then sets of 6 over top, that start to imply that descending line, but takes a minute to get there. So much color. I could spend the next 3 days just trying to figure this out. And somebody should. He has such a great mix of like classical sensibilities and then like blues sensibilities, right? It's such an interesting, wonderful mix. Yeah. He loves it. Now you notice what he's doing on guitar, that right? That's mirroring exactly what Marco was just doing, 50 seconds ago, 70 seconds ago, where you're doing that in thirds. Right? Same thing coming up. The hi-hat work, baby. The hi-hat. That. Right? E major pentatonic all day, this descending little, But then shoot for that D sharp. Shoot for that. It was pentatonic, major 7th, right? And immediately you hear this G sharp minor over E. You get that major 7th vibe. Immediately you get the sound of the song, right? So for all you players out there, take from that you can E major and then save that D sharp. Again, if you haven't learned this song before, there's some wild changes. Like right there, even if you're not a musician, you should be able to hear. Something sounded off, something sounded different. What was it? What was it? Immediately you jump from this E major 7, right? Right? With a D sharp into a B minor. Is B minor in key? Hell no, it's not in key, right? What does B minor have in it? A D natural. That is your minor 3rd. Remember, we're always 3rd hunting, right? So immediately when you hit that D natural, right, for that, which is the 3rd in B minor, you're changing the key. And so again, even you non-musicians out there should be able to hear something changed. What was it? It's D sharp to D natural. That's the vibe that changed, right? And so all this fancy, complicated stuff, you could feel like, oh, I get lost in it. I don't know what makes it what it is or how to make it. 3rd hunt. For the rest of your lives, 3rd hunt, right? Find the note in the chord that is creating and changing the chord function more than any other note. And it's almost always the 3rd, okay? So when a writer picks a chord that sounds out, that sounds different. Pay attention to the third in that chord and how it altered what came before or what comes after it.
Ain't got the time to call you. Right outside the lazy gate, with the summer home.
I keep track of, I know.
Wondering where the love that's returned. Weeks of my love.
Hear it?
Just carry her away. Wake up.
And now you get this change, right? And it jumps up to a C, to a C, nowhere, right? But where does that get you? Now you get to transition. You get to move your whole focus down to G major. Why is that significant? Because in E major, right, G minor would be our focus, would be our chord, right? G minor, okay, with a B flat. But now you're getting that B natural and G major. So this whole thing up here, E major 7. This top cluster is a G sharp minor triad, right? That's what it is, right? So to change our focus to G, it sounds like a monumental shift. But we get there from having the chord that was shared between, right, that A, jump up to C, and immediately we're being pulled, right? We're being pulled, and now we can land in G.
To find out that you
Transition.
are the eyes of the world. Heart has
Gotta nail that
reached
melody.
its own land and lost its own. Way down the sky.
Remember that. Chromatic, C, C sharp, D, right? Again, transitions.
I love that you are the song that the morning rain. All has its season to keep its songs of its own.
Yeah, baby, take your time with it. Now this part, again, I'm trying not to start and stop too much, but you guys know how it is with me. This is one of those things where if you're a lead player, especially if you're a beginning lead player, okay, and you're not used to hunting melodies, right? The answer to your questions is learn the melody to every song. This is a weird thing to go from E major 7 to B minor, because again, what changes? That D sharp goes down to D, okay? So you can think to yourself, E major to B minor. There's a bunch of different ways you can think about it, but what I want you to understand is that it's not the bass note, E to a D, or E to a B, that creates the function that changes. It's this. That's what changes. D sharp to D, right? So if you're in here, right? It's am I D sharp, D, D sharp, D, D sharp, D. That was hot. Yes, yes. such a good drummer. Such a good drummer. Feel the slowdown with the subdivisions on those high toms.
There comes the Redeemer and He.
Spectacular.
There's a way. Seems that we're starting over to bloom and decay. The night's quiet, long the day. Wake up to find out that
Dude, he's such a good drummer. He's such a good drummer. The hi-hat work to keep it through with the tom fills, to keep everybody in time, and just slowly reach over and grab the microphone like it's nothing, right? And just start singing.
wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. Heart has
Marco
its
knows.
beaches, its home and its songs, its song. Way now discover that you are the song at the moment rain. Heart has its seasons, its evenings, its songs of its own.
These little moves is because you can't always just come in with the, and just you. I mean, you can, right? But it's nice to have little leads up, so your focus is D sharp to D. You know you got to get to this bad boy, so it's nice to do, right, and get there from above. I love it. Man, way down, way down. Stay with it.
way that I've known.
All right, I'm only stopping it just to make sure I don't lose this. All right, we're back in.
Sometimes we visit sometimes we ride like a horse. Sometimes
Did that feel change?
songs we hear, just songs of our own. Wake up to find
Such a
out
good
that
drummer.
you are the
Such a good drummer.
eyes of the world. Heart has its beaches, its home and its thoughts of its home. Wake now, discover that you are the song that the morning brings. Heart has its seasons, evenings, song, song.
Yes. Unbelievable. Just the cascades, the sense of dynamics, the implying of the other chords and then getting back to it, taking you on a little journey, the memorable motifs. There's so much simplicity in there too. It's memorable. Just an absolute master. I have been a fan of his for a long time, and this was a spectacular performance. Spectacular band too. Again, and every single time I watch JRAD, man, he is just such a good drummer too. I mean, everybody in the band is so great, but the rhythmic and the dynamic shifts, especially, and you listen to the subdivisions in the hi-hat, right? As he's going, it's just really special, and it's really masterful and sensitive and thoughtful and all those things. I love it so much. All right, so my friends in the Gerrymanders, thank you so much. For anybody out there, you live in DC, please check them out. I'll try to drop a link to their Instagram in the description. If you're a guitar player or just a keyboard player, bass player, whatever, and you want to learn more about the nuts and bolts of the song, I would invite you to watch the deep dive that I did. And again, I'll try to link that too. And for everybody out there that might want a little more, I would invite you to consider joining GuitarGate 3.0. It's my membership program. I have multiple Grateful Dead courses, and all of the other lessons and courses are geared towards people who want to play in bands and play live. So if you like the way that I break down this stuff and you want to learn it step by step, and most importantly, play with other people, the community now includes a free teleport pedal. So every member right now will get one of these for free until they sell out. This is a Wi-Fi looper that allows anything that's made on one to be downloaded to another. So we have a whole group of deadheads and all kinds of different genres. And it's not just guitar players, bass players, keyboard players, everybody who are making songs together every single day. So again, if you dig this music, if you dig playing with other people, I have spent years, and I can't even tell you how much money, developing this so that we can all play together online and hear each other out of our own amps. So if that interests you, if that's interesting, okay, go to guitargate.com and you can check it out. That's it, my friends. I love you all. Keep the instrument in your hands, keep music in your hearts, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.